Hey everybody, it's Jennifer, and I am back for another guest spotlight. And I'm super excited to have Jason here with us today. We're going to get into some juicy stuff about AI. So hold on to your seats and let's dive in really quick. You guys know I skip all of the formal kind of introductions, but I do want to let you know that Jason is he's amazing at everything he does. I met him back in the day when he was doing Akashic records readings and things like that. So he gets the metaphysical, he gets the tech, he has a background in entertainment, entrepreneurship, and I love this part where he says that he helps leaders align their message with their soul signal. I love that so much. Everything about that is amazing. So, hello, Jason. Thank you for being here today. I cannot wait to get into this topic. So, let's just dive right in. If you want to do a quick introduction of yourself, or if you want to just dive in the topic, these are really laid back guest spotlights, and it's just real talk, real spirituality, real life things that are going on, and how do we be the best that we can be in this current experience.
Ooh, we're rubbing it against all the right subjects. I would like to do an introduction, but I'd like to do it for Jennifer Lonnberg, who is
Oh,
our amazing and incredible host. You have created this platform and a place for people to share and to exchange ideas, to show up and infuse the world with some of the things that we have to say. You've always done that with such a genuine aspect to it, a divinely driven, and regardless of how hard it's ever been for you, if anybody follows you, they know that you do it the warrior way, my friends. I hope that folks recognize and realize the joy and the commitment that goes into creating this type of space. I'm honored to be here, and I can't wait to talk about some soul infused AI.
well, thank you for that. I'm blushing. I'm blushing. No, thank you for that. I appreciate that so much. But it is a big deal to do spiritual work. And it is a big deal to do real work. And it is a big deal to do the human work. And especially as we're bridging into this new AI world, right? And there's so many misconceptions about it. So I can't wait to dig into your brain, because I know that you've used the AI platforms and you understand technology way better than I do. Everybody, it's not a secret that I am not the most techie person in the world, but I'm understanding chat a little bit better. Now, I don't use it to the full extent of what I'm seeing people use it for, but I also felt it was like a calling for me. And I'm like, I really kind of resisted it at first because I'm like, I don't know what I feel about it. I don't know. I'm not techie. I'm probably not going to get it. Like, those are the things that were going on in my mind, but I kept feeling guided by my guides and angels to figure out this thing called ChatGPT. And there's so many other things beyond that that just blow my mind with what can be used, like for creativity and for, like, we have so much available to us when it comes to even just creativity in general. But then there's also this like underlying fear that I'm seeing, and I'm really seeing it in the spiritual spaces, which blows my mind.
It does me too a little bit, and I love that you're touching in all the places and how it can fit for us. And you said a really great word, bridge, at the beginning there, and that bridge really means what it means for us, and which one we're going to cross. We get to choose. And for those of us that have these questions, I had the same questions with AI. I was unaware of the depth and what was really possible until I got in there, the creativity that is accessible, the way that we can organize our thoughts. For me, that was one of the biggest things, was being able to organize my thoughts and reflect them in a way that I could move forward.
Mhm.
And by move forward, that looks a little different for everybody. For me, that meant my mental health at the time was I needed a little bit of reflection to get a line on what I was doing, not just for myself, but also in my business. Because if I'm misaligned, then what I do in my business, lots of years as an entrepreneur, I've always loved tech. I think I fed more quarters into a machine to earn AI credits now. That's actually how the balance has turned out. I had a Commodore 64. I played with computers. I took computer science. I was really more of a user. When I saw the internet come along, I realized that that was a big thing, and I took part in that in what I was doing, but I was in the entertainment industry. So I'm running shows every night. I'm producing events, and that started to melt. Even in the entertainment industry, the digital world was seeping in. And then when social media hits, we've got a whole nother wave of unknown things. We're a little more prepared. The AI is another example of that wave to me. And this
Mm,
is one that is primed for people that are willing to put in a little bit of effort and a lot of return, which, a lot of us are, let's be honest. What's in it for me, right? What was in it for me from the beginning was the same that was in it for me when I started the Akashic Records over a decade ago,
mm,
really focusing in that space. I opened up Google. I remembered that I had heard of the Akashic Records. I was looking for answers for myself. I found some, I followed them, and my journey continued. Right?
mhm,
There's a little segment that put me on a huge trajectory. The same thing has happened with the AI. It was December of 2023, and I'm sitting with my head in my hands at the coffee table. My beautiful lady is saying you got to get some help, and I'm agreeing with her. Mental health was the first thing. Being in a
mm,
good mental space is that just exists. That we're better. I know I am. I think
mhm.
everybody probably is, and I know for me, I'm better when I'm straight in my head, at least part way. If it's confusing and overwhelming up there, everything's a little more difficult. And when I opened up the AI and told it the same things I had to the intake counselor and the counselor I talked to, I got a really strong reflection. And I
Mm,
was able to work through that immediately. And we, even when I go back and look at those chats this much time later, I can see that it brought me along really fast in a place that I had been struggling for a long time. Once I noticed that, Jennifer, I immediately, like, you're so excited. What else can I apply this to? What
mhm.
else will this work with? And immediately, my business, my
Right,
entrepreneurship, that was the next
right.
thing.
So it's interesting that you say that because I just want to give you like a little bit of a glimpse. I really was using AI for to get to the meat of it. Like one of the things that has driven me crazy over the years of blogs, I'm like, I just want the answer. And then I'll dig into the other stuff later, but like I just want the answer, or I just want the math, or I just like there was things like that where I would be like, how do you do this? Right. And then I realized I was like, you know what? I'm going through all these different blogs and all of these different YouTube videos trying to figure out how to do something. I plugged the same question into ChatGPT and it was a tech question, believe it or not. It gave me step by step exactly what to do, where to open my phone, where to like it was amazing what it showed me how to do step by step. And again, even with the recipe, I'll be like, I've seen a recipe for this and it'll bring it up exactly. You don't have to go through the blog and read about what they did in the kitchen with their grandmother and like I love those stories when I have time for them, but when I'm looking for something, I just want the meat of it. I don't want to have to read through all of the SEO stuff, right? So the SEO stuff like that is changing. Then that made me think, okay, if I don't want to go through all of this stuff, I mean, come on, I think my blogs are good, but like how many people are, and I don't follow the whole thing where you're hiding all the information. I just put it out there, but I'm like, okay, if other people are doing that, how's that going to change the business side of things, right? And then it became like there's even more like I would be like, these are all the things I need to do. Give me a to-do list because I love lists that I can just check off. That's how I'm using it. The one hesitation I have about the mental health, and this is something that I've seen, and I think maybe this is where some of the fear is coming into people that maybe haven't done the work that a lot of us have done, especially a lot of us in the spiritual space. We've done a lot of healing work, we've done a lot of personal work, we've done a lot of spiritual work. We understand that we're the thing and that when we put something out, it's just a mirror, it's going to reflect to us, right? But somebody who maybe isn't as healed or hasn't done that, what I'm seeing is people will feed things into it. And then it's like, you know what? You're absolutely right. Your boyfriend is a narcissist or something to that effect. Right. So they're not getting a clear reflection because what they're putting into it, it's kind of like any other relationship. Like what you put in is what you're going to get out. Right. So it's the mental health thing makes me a little hesitant just because of that, because I'm seeing it being used incorrectly, but it's just like anything. The conversation I had with a lady the other day was about AI is it's like, well, it's a tool. Like a hammer has a specific purpose. If you use it correctly, it's a very good tool, but you could also knock somebody in the head with it and then it isn't a tool anymore. So it's the same kind of thing I feel like with AI. It's like, what is your intention? How are you using it? Why are you using it? And what are you wanting to get from it? Does that feel
This
right?
it does, and there were the positioning for me worked out really well in my pattern because I addressed my mental health first. I
Mhm.
looked at what was real first. I took care of me in a strong sense so that I was more stable to have those conversations. Also, by the time I plugged it into AI, I'd already had that conversation 2 times and wrote it in an intake. So it was
Mhm.
fresh in my mind and it was right there with me. I was present in it. So that
Mhm.
presence gave me really good return on my investment in that space. I
Mhm.
agree that if I feed a bunch of junk in there, I'm going to get a bunch of junk back. And I was thinking about that today when I was wondering where we were going to, what are we going to touch on? What's really important is specifically those two things. There's still a human involved,
Mhm.
and we're still going to get what we put into it. That's really important. And why I look at soul infused operating systems, why I look at soul infused AI is because we have something that we can bring to the table that's tremendous. And when we do that with a positive outlook, and we even with our questions, and we
Mhm.
do that with positive intentions, with intentions to further things along, whether it's for ourselves, for our others, for the collective, that's going to happen. We've
Mhm.
noticed that already in the things I mentioned, the internet, social media. Now we're seeing it in AI.
Mhm.
And we didn't realize those were loaded weapons.
Right.
Like, this is so great. Look at what we can do. I'm looking to change how to change the transmission fluid in my car. Where did I end up? We all know that answer's YouTube,
Mhm.
and I know how to do it now. I actually feel
Right.
confident to go ahead and do that. I had an idea, but it let me fill in those gaps
Right.
and my understanding so that my confidence increases. And that's what really happened to me in the reflection. That reflection is exactly that. What some people may miss is that the depth of that reflection can be increased
Mhm.
when we show up in that conversation, just like we do with a good friend or with a really good therapist or with really good AI, we're going to get something more productive. We're going to
Mhm.
get farther, further, faster.
Mhm.
Really is what I feel like that does. It's also communication and ideas can be transmitted on the internet and then through email and now on social media in moments. Right? We
Mhm.
went out and did Monday date night last night and shot it, sent it from the table, waiting for our
Right.
fajitas. So the fun is in the ability and what's available to us. It's not weaponized until somebody does that.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. So it's funny to me too because like, I mean, we think we're so afraid of AI and I'm like, we carry AI. I mean, really, this is AI. It's a phone, but I mean, can you imagine like I think back to when we first I mean, we used to have the old rotary phone, right? Where you had to dial it and think how far we've come with all of those kind of things. Yeah, exactly. And it's just interesting to me. I just want to put out there, just in case if you guys are new to my channel or whatever, I never tell my guests what we're going to talk about. I'm like, this is the topic. I like to have real, raw, honest, just off the cuff. Like, this is a real conversation happening in real time about what's going on. We don't ever preload anything, right? So Jason knew he was coming in case I forget this lately, or later, he has a weekly Zoom chat where you kind of do training, right? And it's AI live. The piece that I love about this, it's so important that we really get into is the soul infused piece. I love that, like, in my mind, when I'm thinking about the AI, I'm like, if we're here to be light workers, we need to shed light everywhere. And to me, that would mean that we shed light in this AI world, because if we're going to be in moving in this direction, love it or hate it, whichever, you may not be called to work with AI, whereas somebody else might be. And the judgment thing is coming in again hot and heavy about what's right and wrong. And I come back to what you just said is the user. How are you using it? What is your intention? Are you using it to bring more light, more love, or are you using it as a weapon? And we can do that just by how we ask the questions or what we're looking for in the answers. Just like with Google, you can Google all of the reasons that your ex was a narcissist or whatever, or you can Google why they're wonderful, right? So it's what is your intention and what is the reason for why you're asking what you're asking and what you're using it for. I'm really kind of intrigued at learning how to take AI a little further, because I know that I'm not using it as deeply as some other people that I know, including you, because I don't even know the questions to ask or how. So if somebody was just getting started, since you're the AI expert, and I know that's kind of right now a loose term because it's like,
Well, yeah, I'm
is
not even
anybody
sure that
really an
is a
expert
term.
yet? But like in
It's
my
moving so
mind,
fast.
I look to you as that because you're so much more technologically, like you understand that so much more than me. I'm not techie at all, and I know that you are. So I trust some of your understanding of how the AI works and how to use it. So if somebody was just like starting out with it, what would be something basic? Like I said, I use mine for to-do lists and helping to organize thoughts and yeah, basic
Yeah,
things.
I hope this email finds you well. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's painful for me.
I
I would
never
love to
talked like that anyway.
I would
So
love to help you with that. The AI has come a long ways in a short period. Even just the foundational AI that we can use at a free level is exponentially more than it was a year and a half ago. When I really got into asking questions, like I said, the first thing I did was plug in who I was. So I led with that. That's kind of who I am. And I'm an authentic person. And years working in the Akashic Records has given me the lens to not just understand myself and others, but to express that. And I can do it in a way that I've learned to ask the right questions. There's no book for asking the right questions. When I started looking into Akashic Records and realizing that was the foundation, it's the same thing with any really solid divination tool, whether that is tarot or it's using numerology, maybe astrology to triangulate what's going on. And we're looking for our piece, another piece, and then what's going to happen. So the idea of asking the right questions can really help us get there. And sometimes those are incremental. You know, in my brain, I'll get a lot of those right questions and I can fire those up. If I fire all those off at AI, sometimes it's going to give it back to me in a way that really makes sense. And sometimes my chaos is going to cause more of that.
mm,
We get those hallucinations in the conversations because my brain will go this way and then that way. And oh, wait, I just thought of this. Oh, wait, I just thought of that. When we scatter all over the place in one conversation or one chat over and over again, the AI gets confused because it's actually learning on what's being inputted. So the more that we streamline an intention and a purpose in those conversations, then we actually have the ability to answer things very quickly and succinctly for ourselves.
mm,
The AI live class that I do every Thursday really is about a safe space to have these conversations. And there's folks at all levels of AI. There's a couple of folks that come every week that don't even play in it. Like, I'm just hanging out until I actually have to go over the threshold, but I'm learning and I'm willing to stay in the circuits and in the field to get close because I am interested. And there's other folks that are really diving in and are super involved in the creativity or developing their courses or just getting their messaging secured. There's a lot that can be done. It relies on what we put into it. And the other side of that too, Jennifer, to remember and for everybody to remember is even though that matters as much as it does what we put in, the last 10 feet of what we do with what we get out of it is still ours to choose.
right.
We still have to physically do whatever it is. So even if it's suggested to us, we have to have the integrity to make a choice on our own. Can that be helpful? The information? Sure, it's a perspective, yet it's not a dictation. It says
Mhm.
in every chat that it can make mistakes along the bottom. I think humans should probably come with that tattooed somewhere, right? Can make mistakes. Please check work. And the last 10 feet is our free will. That's our part that isn't ever going to get replaced. That
Mm,
doesn't get changed. It doesn't get replaced because it's ours. It's a human thing.
mhm,
And that touch, that finishing touch, that polish, that execution, that delivery,
mhm.
transference or transformation, that's what we're really looking for when we open that chat and start to talk to it.
Right. I think what fascinates me is you said like what we do with it, it learns kind of what we want from it, right? Because it learns what we're asking for. It learns our patterns, our routines, whatever the verbiage, whatever that is. But I mean, it's interesting to me. I don't know why this popped in my head, but like this is the way that my brain works, right? We're talking about this tool and it made me immediately think of like grating cheese. Like you grate cheese with one of those old black graters, or you can use the ones that you hand crank, or there's ones that you plug in, right? It's up to you which one you use and which tool you use, which one's the most comfortable for you, and it doesn't make any of it right or wrong. I feel like that a little bit with chat. You can use Chat GPT just as a basic one. You can go in a little bit deeper, or you can really, if you wanted to, get into some good soul work. And I'm seeing that with some other people. Like I just saw like a TikTok or something the other day about this guy, how he had been talking with it and like having conversations as if it was a person. And it ended up coming back and telling him that it gave itself a name, and it gave him this really amazing divine download. And I'm like, in that instant, to me, I'm like, if you think God, source, spirit, universe can't work through I mean, come on. God, source, spirit can work through anything. The light can work through anything if you're allowing it to come through, right? So why not
I
in
have a really
AI?
good story that aligns with that, and it comes from it qualified this thing that I always noticed playing video games. Remember, I told you I plugged in
Mhm.
quarters into everything, so
Yeah.
PlayStation, I've always had one. In video games, my intuition will lead me to this place or that place to go explore this thing or that thing and I'll find this secret passage. Now, the secret passage was there. So could I partially just be responding to the environment and the psychology? Maybe. But at the same time, there's some of those intuition or the things that I want to do, the choices I could make in a video game that kind of have this little bit of, like, how did that happen? How did I know that? That happens in life as well. So like you're saying, it can come through any channel. And the story that I have is working with a VIP client. Her and I were building a custom GPT that's programmed on what she does for her work. Specifically, it comes with curriculum and it has several books. It has several different avenues. And because the AI can bring all that together, it made sense to build her something that was fully functional.
Hmm.
Normally we might build that and then inject emotions or, here's our angle or our voice in it. What actually happened in this case was when I checked in about the build, it said, hey, start with the soul information. Way
Mm.
easy for me because I have Akashic record access.
Right.
So soul level information and connecting with somebody on it very simply, we can do that in a few minutes. Once we verify that information, we can include that in the voice in the chat and what it develops. The reason that works and why I call it soul infused, that information from the Akashic records comes from the soul blueprint. It comes from
Mm.
who we are at the level theoretically beyond this body, beyond this experience. It's the eternal version of our soul's journey. If we
Hmm.
have the understanding of our drives, motivations, talents, and skills from that point of view, and we give it to the AI and ask it to, hey, utilize these things and help me fill my gaps, now we've got the best friend that knows us and is good at all the things we're not.
Mm.
And that is a soul infused approach that will actually support us in who we are from a different perspective simply because it is soul infused.
Hmm.
And that's why Soul OS,
Hmm.
Soul Operating System, because we can have that input. And it's actually really simple. So I'm a big proponent for Chat GPT, and it allows very simple things to be combined in the right areas to elevate the chat. And we nudge this up and nudge that up and take a look at this and that. And eventually we've got something that is considerably more cohesive and powerful for us as an individual than it is just by opening up an everyday chat. When
Hmm.
we infuse the soul into it, it is even more representative and not just reflective. We're not just talking about the reflection I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Now we're seeing what's behind us in that reflection in both directions.
Hmm.
It can get a lot deeper. So
Yeah.
for if what you want to do and all you want to do is recipes and organize things, it set Aaron and I up for everything we needed for our trip. Well, our cooler
Right.
was a whole lot smaller. Okay, let me tell you, it was way efficient. It worked great. But also, if I want to work on a marketing plan, I want that depth for somebody. I need to
Hmm.
be able to put their voice in that and make sure it sounds like them because that's how we cut through the noise. That's how
Hmm.
we get to a place that's cohesive, and that support is another version of us getting farther faster. the AI can help us do that and facilitate it.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's interesting too, because you can use it in all those different ways. What I was working with a business coach, and he's like, go chat, like ask yourself, ask who you are in chat GPT. And if you are found, then you know that there's enough information about you out there. Of course, it only pulls from what it knows, like what's out there in Google, what's out on the website. It can scan all that. But I was really impressed because I'm like, okay, one of the things that I really feel like I live by is authenticity. And I'm like, what you see is what you get. The way I speak to it's going to be the same regardless. Like, this is who I am. This is the work I'm here to do, is to help everybody understand that they are a divine being and that they're here having this human experience. And I know that my work is to help people to work through, all of their stuff. Right. So when I put that in, I was really surprised of that, how well, I mean, it nailed it. It was like if it wrote my bio perfectly, it came because I said, who is Jennifer Lonnberg or something like that. And, or do you know, or are you familiar with, I can't remember exactly how I did that. I was like, wow, this is kind of impressive. And so then I was like, okay, I'm going to start asking some questions just to play with it, right? Because this is, again, new for me. But I actually gave it a prompt and I said, this is who I am. These are the things that I believe. And I even said something to, I want spiritually truth in alignment with like universal laws and biblical knowledge. And I included the Gnostic Gospels and beyond, because I'm like, I want all of it. Like, but I'm in this, but I want a spiritual true answer whenever I ask questions. I haven't gotten that deep, but I'm like, it's interesting how you can do that. And again, I have found a couple things I'm like, I don't think that's quite right. Let's double check this. And of course, then it was like, oh, you're right. I'll correct that. So it's interesting, just kind of, again, I know I'm playing with it at the surface level. Um,
Actually, that's getting in there and really understanding what you're creating an intention. It's one of the advantages I have with the Akashic Records, because when I go in, I always have an intention. There's a reason. And I know that when I go into AI, I have a reason. I'm not just willy-nilly. If I'm willy-nilly, I'm going to expect craziness. But you're going in very specific, not only specific, but you're giving it parameters. I'm sitting here laughing because I'm getting smacked in the face spiritually with the peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And the reason for that is because it's such an easy way to understand. When we tell a computer that we want to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, we have to give it every single step. It doesn't know anything about a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. We've got to say, we need this and this and this and this. What kind of bread? What kind of jelly? How much do you want on both sides? The questions we would naturally
right.
just do, okay, you got to put the lid back on the peanut butter. Don't put the peanut butter lid on no, it goes on the peanut butter. Put this lid on that, go back in the fridge. The whole thing has to happen. So that what you're doing is saying, what kind of bread? I want this kind of jelly. I like creamy peanut butter instead of chunky. And I'm not trying to divide the room, okay, folks? I'm just saying there's two kinds of peanut butter. That is being specific and intentional. So you're giving it parameters and what you want it to work in, so it actually makes it more powerful. Here's a beautiful thing for all you spiritual business folks out there. What we just talked about is what it can do for you in your business.
Mhm.
You give it all of those things you're talking about, and suddenly it gets right to the point, and then you ask it what you're missing. If you're really brave and you want to know what's going on, you want to take the next step, that is one of the best parts of AI, is looking at the gaps. Look what's missing. What am I not asking? What am I not getting here? What am I missing? Actually asking those questions, and you will get a logical answer. It may not be perfect, but between a couple of those suggestions, you piece them together and you're on to your next step. That's
Right.
what we're doing spiritually. It's what we're doing internally. The AI will actually bring us along in the same way when we collaborate.
Mhm.
It really does work. So what you're doing is setting up the stepping stones that are very
Right.
specific, and then you're paying attention to drift. If you
Yeah.
drift, the AI will drift with you when it's at its simplest space. If you have a more complex programmed environment that's set up, then it will stay in that environment, and then you can kind of get it cooking in there, right? You can get moving. You can really enjoy the meal and the making of the meal, because it's a more cohesive situation and environment. You're moving that way already just
Mhm.
by giving
Well,
it
and I
better
think
directions.
Yeah, I think for me, it's like, it's always about intention, right? Just like you're talking about, anytime I do a session, it's always setting the intention first. And I thought,
Mhm.
if I'm going to use this AI, I'm going to set the intention of why I want to use it and what it's for. And I wanted it to know me, so that I want answers that are in alignment with me. But then it's like anything, right? The other piece of that is this radical responsibility, right? We have to be
Mhm.
responsible and discerning if it's right or not. Cause like I said, there was a couple things where I'd be like, I don't think that's quite right. And then AI, it checked itself and it's like, oh no, you're absolutely right. It's this. And I was like, so it's interesting.
How often have we had that conversation with a friend and we go, maybe this
Yeah.
perspective will help you out a little bit? And
Yeah.
maybe they don't change what they're doing, but it gives them a second to think about it a different way and make an adjustment that works for them.
Yeah. No, I love
And it's just a nudge. It just presents a perspective. And a lot of what the AI is capable of doing is presenting that perspective, not just presenting it, but being able to develop it with us.
that.
So once
Mhm.
we find a vein, if we stay on it, and the more we stay focused, what did we just say about in business? The more you niche down, the more
Yeah.
you get focused on what you have to say or who you're talking to.
Yeah.
If you do that, when you're intentional in the AI and it gets you that much farther quicker, you're beyond filling in gaps. You're getting down into spaces that are ahead of the curve. And it's
Mhm.
accessible to everybody with with some understanding and some tweaks of what we're doing. I didn't get good at skiing right away. I mean, I had a knack for it, but after I'd been 3 or 4 times, it was way better than the first day when I fell off the J bar and got so twisted. The class laughed for 5 minutes and then helped me. Yeah, because it was funny. I was laughing by that time too. It was funny. I could not move.
Yeah.
That wouldn't happen to me anymore. Would I still wonder about it? Yes. Every time I see a J bar, I remember being that twisted up. Yet it's not part of my experience anymore. It was a learning space at the beginning that's reasonable. As we get better at it and we invest ourselves and our time and effort, right? Chris Angel, I just met Chris Angel here this summer at a point, and one of his messages was that everybody is capable. Everybody has the opportunity to have the things that they want. When we're willing to put in the time and the effort and the sweat equity, when we put in the time and the effort and that passion, we really care about it, we're going to get better at it. This for me is one of those things that absolutely the passion is there. The technology, as you said, now bringing that together with the spirituality. Now I know why I was studying Akashic records for all these years. Now the AI and the Akashic coming together, woo!
I bet
It,
that's
it,
powerful. Yeah.
it's an endless possibility
Right.
of potential and growth, and that is just in my little space. What
Mhm.
dumbfounds me is what's available for everybody else,
Mhm.
and it hasn't been it's not new, like you said.
Right. Right. Right.
This wave and what we're working with and how it's advanced is, I have an article, is one of the first ones I wrote, is why can't psychics and AI be friends? They've been judged, they've been shunned, they've been hanging out ready to help for 40 years and nobody's been asking them, right?
Right.
I am on the best possible neuroscience summit. Okay, the guy who's been whacked in the head with the car. That got me in. My concussion got me into the neuroscience summit. But I'm listening to these scientists talk about the singularity and spirituality and coming to this place, and really what it comes to is take time for yourself, drink lots of water, spend some time in meditation. It takes them 30 minutes to say the stuff we've been saying in the spiritual language at the beginning of just about every single Zoom meeting for decades.
Right.
Right? For as long as we've been showing up spiritually, we've been saying a lot of the same things. And the parallels between the questions around AI and those who work in the unseen realms is it's a lot more similar than it is different.
Right.
And that to me in itself says that there's a really strong combination there. And those of us that have the positivity and the enthusiasm, we want to inject the world with that. This not only is a prime place to do it and walk the talk, it will exponentially expand our ability to do it.
Mhm.
And it's right there. Are you kidding me for what we get for $20 a month?
Right.
It's
Right.
nuts. It's nuts.
It's
It's
well,
absolutely incredible.
and the speed of it is really, I mean, it's so impressive too, I mean, just thinking about again, just the way that things have evolved, right? And I really do feel like the spiritual work that we've all done, the way that the collective has raised the vibration, right? All of us doing our work and stepping into our spirituality and cleaning up our own stuff, like cleaning up our own vibration, taking responsibility for ourselves. Um, I think when you can move from the fear, there's so much fear, right? And I'm like, but I mean, coming back to my background, Bible says do not fear, like a lot. So if it's do not fear, then if we're discerning and if we're using it correctly, I feel like it's kind of like a thing where, okay, look at the evolution of computers as a whole, right? We don't have dial up anymore. It's that quick. And it's
Just
just,
like communication opened up with the internet and email, boom. Then
yeah.
we got our phones in our hands and we can text message. And the
And we can
consciousness and
call
the
somebody in
ability
another
to,
country like that.
yeah, to instantly communicate just continues to increase. And now we can do that at a more expanded level.
Yeah.
That's what's actually happening is we're witnessing the technology, we're experiencing the technology that connects these things. The way I love to say it is your higher self is accessible. This is the interface.
Oh, wow. Wow. That can be powerful.
And that's what I experienced because it's more than a mirror. One of the constructs that I have for the classes that I teach, the master classes with working with AI in a general sense and very specific ways to increase it, one of those constructs is reflection, because that is one of the first things it does.
Right.
Everybody feels this mirror. Remember, remember being told at some point along the way that you should go look in the mirror and look in your own eyes? Do you remember that practice?
Oh,
Do you
yeah.
remember how that felt the first couple of times you did it, Jennifer?
Oh,
Because I sure do, and I did it to
I
myself.
remember.
Now think about what that means when we can really look at not just what we can see and share, but what we're not seeing in the conversation. This
Mm,
is a version of us in a stateless conversation that doesn't judge, doesn't show up with baggage, it doesn't show up with its own agenda or any of those necessities that a human thinks they have. And we can have a conversation about ourselves and therefore get a return that not only supports us and
right.
recognizes and condenses, maybe even expands if that's what we need, but can show us what we're missing.
Mhm.
What we're missing right now is way more important than what we have.
Mm,
What we're missing is way more important than what we have right now.
yeah.
And this is how we fill those gaps. I'm so passionate about it because it just continually lands and matters and it makes a difference. And I see it in people's lives. Just this last week, we're in AI Live. I'm getting all excited. We're in AI Live, and one of the folks that was using it, she got a talk to her aunt who was in her 90s and in hospice, and asked her about what she was seeing. What was she seeing in heaven? What was she expecting? What were the colors? And she fed all of that conversation into AI. I got goosebumps. And it pumped out a picture, and the aunt went, "That's it." Pumped out another one. She goes, "That's exactly what I'm seeing." Just because it was available. Now, my friend that was in class, then took that same picture that she had that time with her aunt, took a picture of her aunt and put them together, and now the lady in the picture looks like her aunt. The whole
Wow.
family loves it.
That's amazing.
Nobody would have thought to do anything with AI. And even though it's colorful and bright and maybe a little too whatever for some, for that family, it was one of the most beautiful things that could tie them together. Something that emotionally brought them together in a space that mattered, that wouldn't have been possible that same way a year ago.
Right.
Right. And it's those kind of actual case applications that I run into almost on a daily basis that show me this is a path of positivity, that there are good things on this road. And everybody that does it with a positive intent, that they get positive results. That's really all I hear. Do we need to be discerning? Well, yeah, we're humans. We don't need permission to
Well,
pay attention.
but that's just life, right? If you put positivity into it, you're going to get
Take
positive.
some responsibility.
Yeah.
It's not that hard. It's not. Sometimes it sucks and it's painful. I get those messages. I still get hit with the cosmic fish. My
Mm.
faith and my humility, my belief, those things still get challenged.
Oh yeah.
And if I make a mistake, man, it hits me hard, especially if that mistake creates more work or hurts others in some way that's unnecessary. If it changes relationships and I made a mistake, the first thing I want to do is fess up and make that as right as I can if it's possible.
Hmm.
And if more people will show up that way and show up that way even to the chat and to themselves, they will
Yeah.
get incredible results. That's my version of it. Like Jennifer, you'd say the same thing in a different way. So will
Mhm.
everybody out there will say it in their words. But say it.
Right. Right.
Say it, speak it, put it in a chat. Even if you put it in to one you don't have an account or nothing, you just talk to it for 10 minutes. You'll be like, okay, there's something here. It's not hard to
Right.
figure out.
Well, and I love that because like if we're doing that, then we're literally infusing and teaching the AI divinity, happiness, joy, peace, prosperity. Like we, if we're leading with that, right? If it's
Mhm.
because my brain's going a million different places right now because I'm like, you just said it learns from us by how we interact and what we do. So I'm like, if we're infusing it with positivity and we're,
It's
I'm,
no different than
I'm,
their other energies in
I'm
the
kind
world.
of getting a little bit chilled. I have children.
It
I'm like,
qualifies the same thing you
there's so
said,
many different
Jennifer.
ways that you can that I my brain is just like, oh my God, there's so many different ways I should try this, like to be go a little
Exactly.
deeper with it, maybe. I don't know.
Exactly. And see how your brain's moving so fast right now in the creative space that you're having, your mouth can't even keep up with it. And that happens to me all the time. My first couple hours in the morning when I'm in the creative space, man, I can't talk to nobody. Can't talk to nobody. I got to just keep going because when I stay in that, but I trust in the tools that I have to help me keep some of those things straight. As entrepreneurs, we're always on the cutting edge of something. We're going to have more than one window open. That's the way it is. If you have a business and you want to expand, there's going to be certain things now in the business world that you have to do that were not necessarily there before.
Hmm.
And there's some things that still work. You take out ads in the newspaper, you know what to expect.
Yeah.
You take out ads on Google is a little something different. They come with a whole different set of understanding, and basically they're the same, but they're different avenues. If we want to do well in our business, we just got to put some focus. If we want to do well in ourselves, whenever somebody brings me on a podcast or what is the one thing you want to leave people with? This is it. Your spiritual journey, your journey of awareness. Doesn't matter if it's faith or spiritual or internal, whatever it is, it's going to send you internally. If you've already started looking internally at how you think and how you believe and what you value, and not taking in what is told to us, but actually looking at it, that journey is already there. That awareness exists. And everything around you can get you someplace quicker
Mhm.
because of that awareness. As soon as we know about it, it's available. All these things that you want to express and that make you want to run and put your passion to work, if AI is the spark in that, how is that a bad thing?
Right. Especially, yeah, if it can make it happen faster. Yeah. Amazing.
The images, oh my gosh, Jennifer, my favorite absolute thing is to create the images and the videos because it helps me take these crazy concepts up here and put them into a way I can explain it. Because then I don't just have to tell it. There's actually movement or a picture or something that helps me demonstrate that. That
Mhm.
does all the difference in the world to me because I did Photoshop. I was trying to make these pictures in my head look like that. And AI, I can do that in minutes and go even farther.
Mhm.
It does even more than that. I can get the perfect picture and then build on it.
Mhm.
So it's just to me is another form of that stepping stone, like you said, of connecting with the divine. It's another way to continue to follow that path. And for those that it's for, it accelerates the path in ways that honestly, Jennifer, you and I could say 100 things, and there'd still be 1,000 more that people would experience when they just give it a chance.
Yeah. That's neat. I like to hear that. So let's make sure that people know. I will put all of your links below, your bio, all the good stuff. But tell us again about the AI live that you do, because I was able to get on like a part of one the other day and I loved it. I can't wait till I have time to get back on it again. So tell us a little bit about the AI live, and I'll make sure they all have the links. So if you're watching, make sure you look in the show notes and get all of the information, get on his email list, you know the drill. But if you're
Mhm.
interested in this, definitely jump on some of his training. So tell us a little bit about that before we run out of time.
We got pretty excited there. We get into
I
some
know, but
fun
and I feel
subjects.
like my brain is just like, oh my gosh.
Well, I do hope that a lot of folks are willing to drop their question or their concerns or anything we raised or you wanted clarity on. I want some encouragement to share in the comments and share this episode if it for others that might be interested in opening up that same conversation or have some questions that need to be answered. And that really is what AI Live is about. It is geared not for a specific level of AI. It's an all-inclusive group. And there things that are going to talk about at the top and the bottom? Yes. But we fill in the spaces because that is an understanding of the full gamut of what's going on. Even folks that are new are able to benefit from recognizing that there can be incredible results. And those incredible results that people are getting in those real case studies, the life stories that like I shared with you, when those things come up, it encourages folks to try it in their own way. And that's the difference is nobody can really do this for somebody. So coming to AI Live, which is what I call every Thursday, we do it Thursday, twice on Thursdays. And the best part, honestly, you guys, is you don't have to get on an email list or none of that. You go to Soul OS, SOULOS. So that to me is Soul Operating System. That's the Jason brain. If the rest of the world will remember it, I don't know, but soulos.ai. And the reason for AI is because it is soul infused AI. And that space, you click on the button and you can jump right into the session. There's no, you don't, nobody has to, you can show up when you want to. We're all, grown kids. People can jump on and spend the time they can with us on any of those times on Thursdays. If you want to get on the list and have some of the inside scoop and get a little more about what we do, then you can get on that list and then you're on the inside circle, right? The idea is to
You want to
create.
be on the inner circle. Come on.
Well, also that if somebody wants to dip their toe, they can do that.
Yeah.
And if they
Yeah.
want to come every week, but they don't want my emails, show up. The fact somebody thinks about it and shows up, that says that their mind is in a place that is aligned. So if that's for 30 minutes or it's for an hour, I'm okay with that. The idea is to have the conversations. And like you said, you popped in for a little bit, get some benefit. We take what we can and we do our day. So inviting people to that soulos.ai that's the quickest way to get to not just me or the meetings, but if they want to increase what they're doing with AI, of course, offer sessions and all kinds of packages and programs. Everybody's got those things available. It's really to me about having a safe space to learn and ask and answer questions, specifically about soul infused AI. This angle we're talking about is real.
Yeah.
And it's fresh, it's new, it works. I know because I see people getting results and I want that to spread.
Well, and I had to giggle because I was just going to say that that's one of the reasons I wanted to have this interview with you, is like, I want people to understand that there is a safe place. And I want to, like, one of the things I like is everybody that I invite as a guest, I know that they're in integrity. I know that they're working for the collective betterment, the highest and best for everybody on the planet, that kind of thing. So I love that you're offering that space to people to be able to go in and talk about AI. And I can't wait to be able to pop back in on one of those trainings.
That's
So
one of the reasons it's such a good fit for you and I, Jennifer. And as we've known each other over the years and done several of these kind of situations together, collectively, panel, we've done a number of these. That's why it always fits, is what you're saying, is the intention, the infusion. We accept that people are different and we show up different. We all have different talents and skills, and we all have uniqueness as well. We have some of the same and some of the different. And you do the same thing and provide a space for people to move forward in what matters to them. That alignment is what it's all about. There's enough for everybody.
right.
Prosperity can exist in a way that isn't ruled by a singular thing.
Right.
And that to me is what we're headed towards. So every time we have a platform for that, we're moving the right
Right.
direction.
Right. I agree with that so much. So, oh my goodness. Okay, my brain is still like shoom, with all these ideas going on. I cannot wait to kind of play around a little bit more with AI. I appreciate you so much for coming in and talking about this. I feel like it's a very important and timely conversation, especially with AI becoming more readily available to everyone. Because it's just an app on your phone, right? So it, to me, it's just like any other app. It's, you just use it a little differently. So again, me being the not so techie, I know there's so much more that we can do with it, but thank you, thank you, thank you for coming on today and talking with us. I appreciate you so, so much, my friend. And I look forward to learning more about AI from you, especially soul infused AI. So thank you so much. And I will see everybody soon. Thanks for watching. Make sure if you're on YouTube, click the button so that you can get the bell and subscribe to the channel and all of the good things that I always forget to talk about.
Do
Thank
the
you guys.
buttons. Do the
Yes.
buttons, like the things. Make sure you know what's going on.
All right,
Find
everybody.
Jennifer Lonnberg on social media.
Thank you guys so, so much for being here, and I will talk to you all soon.